Logan Christopher will be presenting how to use hypnosis for fitness and strength, simple and advanced hypnosis methods for instant strength gains, body transformation, and more at this year's Health and Strength Conference in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Logan, in your experience, what is the biggest misconception people have about using the mind to improve their physical performance?
Well, I'd say there's quite a few different misconceptions, but the biggest one out there, I'd say, is that most people think that they're thinking already, so they know how to do it. I mean, how many people out there, if you're a trainer in kettlebells, body weight, whatever you're doing, you've been to probably multiple certifications, gone through different programs, learning exercises, but how much time have you really focused on using the mind and how that can be applied to strength training, how that can be applied to fitness? So I'd say the biggest misconception is people think that they already know everything there is about that, when really it is largely an untapped field.
Very cool. Now, you've had a ton of experience training people to get instant strength gains just by using their mind. Can you give us a couple of examples of what some of your clients have achieved?
Well, I think last year's conference was a really great example. On stage, live in front of the crowd, I took Katie Peterson, who was capable of doing 2 one-arm push-ups and just doing a little bit of mental magic on her within 7 minutes, not doing anything as far as the technique in the exercise, but just changing how she thought about the exercise internally within her mind and her body. She was then able to do 7 one-arm push-ups. That's a pretty dramatic increase, and I've had all sorts of other clients do similar things using a similar hypnosis method. I was able to take Lewis. He basically couldn't do muscle ups really well at that moment, and just using one of the things I'm going to be sharing with you at the conference, he was then able to do 3 muscle ups pretty easily, and this was at the end of a workshop event in which everyone was pretty tired already.
Fantastic. Well, I was there for the Katie Peterson transformation, and that was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And I think she's probably still using a lot of those techniques even now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look forward to delivering something similar this year.
Excellent. Now, what are the 3 most important qualities someone needs to bring to the table to be successful in harnessing the power of their mind to enhance their strength?
I would say the first thing is curiosity. It takes, sort of that inquisitive mind wanting to learn more about the mind and how it can affect things as sort of a starting point before you're able to really go into this. I'd also say element of rebelliousness as well, because a lot of this stuff is outside of the conventional, right? I mean, many of us do unconventional fitness methods, but it's the same thing with the mind. You kind of have to go against the mainstream, because the stuff I'm talking about here is not well taught or well understood by most people. And lastly, just like in training, you really need persistence with this. It's not something that you're going to just pick up one day and then be amazing at it for the rest of your life. It's something you're going to have to continually work at in order to get better and better. But the good news is, as you do that, you'll continue to get better and better results with it as well.
Now, what was the original trigger event that set you on the mental mastery path?
There's been quite a few different events over my lifetime, but I'd say what really started it all is the fact that I was not naturally strong or athletic at all. Some people are much more. I didn't play sports when I was a kid. I was a weak, scrawny child. So once I actually got into strength and decided I want to be a strong person, I realized that I needed to sort of get an edge somehow. I wasn't willing to do steroids, so instead I kind of went into these other fields, one of those being the mental training side of things. And using that, I've been able to become quite strong to sort of overcome my natural weak starting place. Excellent.
So there was no original specific event?
There's a couple different things. I can remember the first time I was really playing with visualization and hypnosis a little bit. I was working on a goal of holding a freestanding handstand for 30 seconds. This was something I'd been working on and off on for actually a couple of years, but I was never able to consistently get very good with it. And so finally I got fed up with that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I set a hard goal. I set an exact deadline, and I through all this mental training, what I was learning about at the time at it. And what happened was basically right up to the day of the deadline, every single morning I'd be visualizing myself holding that handstand, and then I'd go out and actually practice it. And on the day of the deadline, I hit that 30-second handstand, and that was like a eureka moment. It's like, wow, this stuff actually works. So that was one of those starting moments for me.
That's incredible. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about that. And finally, there's a last question. You're becoming an iconic figure in the strength world, but you appear to be very open to improving your own skills by learning from others. Who do you turn to refine your own game?
There are hundreds of people. I really think of myself as someone that learns from everyone. Just because someone's great in one field doesn't mean they have mastery over everything. So I'm willing to pick up little bits and pieces from everyone in strength training, in mental training, in any area of my life that I want to become better. So on the strength training front, there's all the different people involved in Dragon Door. There's tons of very smart, intelligent people that I've learned from. Lots of different things over the years, all the different people involved. On the mental training side of things, one of my mentors in this that really got me rolling with it was Dr. John LaTourette, who has basically taken similar methods and applied them to martial arts and had tremendous success in doing that. And that was another one of those triggering events for me that got me to go much deeper in it, because I saw a real good example of how it could be used. And really, I could keep going. The list is endless.
Well, I remember last year you had mentioned a book specifically, and I went out and bought it immediately, actually at great expense, but it was about the mighty atom, and I remember that being kind of a mental game changer as well.
Yeah, there's a specific story in there that I'll probably also talk about at the conference, where the mighty atom, who was an old-time strongman like back in vaudeville era, and at one point, or actually multiple times, there was multiple shows where he did this, but he would take someone random up from the crowd, hypnotize them, and get that person able to bend a spike, something they would never be able to do before or never could do after, except under hypnosis they were able to do this thing. So that was certainly one of those triggering events for me, and also goes to show the power of hypnosis.
Absolutely. And the powers that we already have, our strengths that we already have within our own bodies that we might be missing out on.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what mental training is all about, just unlocking a little bit more of that power, bringing it under conscious control.
Well, Logan, we really look forward to hearing your presentation of how to use hypnosis for fitness and strength, simple and advanced hypnosis methods for instant strength gains, body transformation, and more at this year's Health and Strength Conference in Minneapolis, Minnesota.